Hello, my name is Freeland Jones, and I am an LCMHC in training. If you're wondering what an LCMHC is, it's a licensed clinical mental health counselor. And I'm currently attending the Chicago School of Professional Psychology for a master's in clinical mental health counseling. For my class in CM500, we have an assignment to answer 3 questions. So I'm just going to dive right in and start with question 1. Question 1 asks, what is clinical mental health counseling? And I feel like when you're answering what is clinical mental health counseling, you kind of have to break it down to the 2 things that it is. You have clinical mental health, and then you have counseling. So just to start off, the ACA, which is the American Counseling Association, it defines counseling as a professional relationship that empowers diverse individuals, families, and groups to accomplish mental health, wellness, education, and career goals. And the reason why I feel like it's important to define counseling as a whole is because counseling isn't just for clinical mental health counseling. You have school counselors, you have so many different counselors. So you have to define counselors before you can get into the root of the actual whole word definition. So ACMHCA, which is the American Mental Health Counseling Association, they define LCMHCs as they are distinguished by the ability to address the causes as well as the symptoms of depression, anxiety, trauma, substance use, and other mental disorders that are labeled on the DSM. And the DSM stands for the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual, which has a lot of different mental illnesses or mental disorders put in there, just so it can be an overall book where we have everything in one thing. So overall, my definition of what a clinical mental health counseling, after you putting all those definitions together, is basically it's a specialized area of mental health where we're basically we're assessing mental health, we're diagnosing mental health, and then we're treating that mental health. So I feel like it's a 3-part party. You know, when you're just talking about plain old mental health counseling, they're typically not diagnosing anything, they're just typically treating it, you know, short-term treatment. But when you are a clinical mental health, it's more of a long-term treatment, and it's a specialty that you're in. The second question is, why is clinical mental health counseling an important part of our society? Now, clinical mental health counseling is going to always be a part of society, and it's always going to be important because somebody's always going through something. But specifically talking to right now, 2020, the current state that we're in right now, I feel like a lot of Americans are going through things that they've never been through before. You know, we're going through a lot of things. We have COVID-19 going on. We have the race battle that's going on right now, which is nothing new, but it's something new for the generations coming on right now. You know, we're not used to racism being so upfront and in our face and so blatant. And it's very traumatic, you know, coming from me, a Black youth who has been seeing, you know, police brutality since I was, you know, starting high school, how traumatic it's been. That's all I see, you know. So I feel like clinical mental health counseling is very important because we're going through a lot in the world and a lot of things are changing right now. So we have to assess the mental health of individuals, because if we don't, this world will just turn into chaos, and we're already kind of there. So I feel like it's even more important for licensed clinical mental health counselors to be out there and trying to help the youth, not even just the youth, but our society as a whole, because there is so much chaos that is happening, from COVID to race battles to the education system to immigration. Like, we have so many things that can be a stem or a root of mental health disorders, and it just needs to be treated. And that's why I think it's so important for an important part of our society. What is needed to make counseling effective? Well, as reading in the book says that there are 4 beliefs regarding helping others that every counselor should have, and I'll just go through all 4 of those. And those really are the things that I think are needed to make a counselor. I mean, they're kind of broad, so you can kind of fill in the blanks of things that you think should be filled in with it. But these are the general 4 principles that the book speaks of that all counselors need to have. So the first one is, the best perspective for assisting individuals in resolving their emotional and personal issues and problems is the wellness model of mental health. 2, most of the issues and problems that individuals face in life are developmental in nature, and understanding the dynamics of human growth and development is essential to success as a helper. 3, prevention and early intervention are far superior to remediation and dealing with personal and emotional problems. 4, the goal of counseling is to empower individual clients and client systems to resolve their own problems independently of mental health professionals, and to teach them to identify and resolve problems autonomously in the future. Now, going back, I mean, I said that was the only thing that I have to really characterize or what is needed to make counseling effective. But just a little extra thing that is needed to make counseling effective, which the ACMHC says, once again, that's the American Mental Health Counseling Association. They say licensed to diagnose, holistic health approach, and collaborative partnering. Thank you for listening.